there's a 50 since we got the 50 pack of victims that came out for Diddy. We now have a whole new 100 pack that came out, and supposedly there's a 9-year-old boy and a 14-year-old that was in this 100 pack. Like, I don't know when this is going to stop for Diddy, because my boy is definitely, he going under.
Disgraced hip-hop legend Sean Diddy Combs continues to make headlines in the wake of his sex trafficking arrest 2 weeks ago. Since his arrest in New York City, more accusers have come forward alleging the Bad Boy founder sexually assaulted them. But a law firm in Texas says they have more alleged victims in the triple-digit numbers. Houston-based firm, the Busby Law Firm, claims more than 100 people have come forward with allegations they were sexually assaulted by Diddy and his associates. Attorney Tony Busby of Busby Law Firm made the claim last week on his firm's Instagram page. According to Busby, the acts allegedly took place at hotels, private homes, and at Diddy's freak-off parties. The freak-offs have been at the center of the government's case against the mogul. According to Diddy's federal indictment, the sex acts known as freak-offs went on for hours and even days, and Diddy allegedly produced, directed, and recorded the encounters for his own pleasure. The freak-offs allegedly involved multiple sex workers and often involved drugs including ketamine, ecstasy, and GHB, which according to prosecutors, Diddy distributed to the victims to keep them obedient and compliant. According to the indictment, the freak-offs often occurred in hotels, and Diddy and members of his staff facilitated the freak-offs by booking the hotel rooms and stocking them with supplies, including drugs, baby oil, lubricant, extra linens, and lighting. According to the indictment, the Bad Boy founder allegedly threatened victims' careers and livelihoods if they resisted participating in the freak-offs.
All right, so let's go to the actual press conference here.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Busby. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in Texas and in New York, and I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward.
Only one Zane. What's going on?
Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and it screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You'd be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers. You can seek redress. You can obtain justice. We can help you, and we will help you. That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times, it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly.
Hey.
I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on.
I take offense to that keyboard warrior shit now.
As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs.
And 411, what's goody?
You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group,
Holy shit. So it's 120. He said, was it 60 women and 60 60 males? That's the number I just heard, right? I just want to make sure I heard that right.
females against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females.
60 males and 60 females.
Pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. And I want to focus on of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago.
I mean, straight from DC, right? Hit the button on this nigga rally. Nigga, you gay. Because 60 males. God damn, that's not even counting Farnsworth, Bentley, and everybody else. God, 60 more. Fuck.
And you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward. I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they called a puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred.
Wait a minute. Whoa. That one stuck out to me. Wait a minute. Something called puppy parties? Hold the fuck on. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Where did I see that earlier? Let me go to. I gotta go to my I gotta go to my Instagram real quick for y'all. Shout out to King Ozma, who I wish was in the chat right now. Who I really wish was in the chat right now. I'm gonna show y'all something real quick. I got sent something earlier in regards to puppy parties, and it literally reminded me of when we were going over the blind items for Drake, and he was wearing the dog masks, and he literally had something called puppy parties. That was when we were going over all the symbolism with him as well. Let me show y'all something real quick. I said that stuck out to me more than anything. Something called puppy parties. The puppy parties are basically the sex trafficking for the kids. So they call them puppy parties. It's basically the young pups. Oh, Rush just did something with Nicki Minaj. All right, I'm going to my DMs real quick. Like I said, I'm gonna show y'all this. I hope you can send me 1,000. You can send me. Get it right here. Okay, so that's the Chris Alvarez. Where is? I'm trying to get the post that I got earlier. Where is it? Okay, so that's Diddy parties. Where's the puppy? Trying to get the puppy party one. Trying to get that puppy party one for y'all real quick. This it? Yeah, here it goes. Here it goes. All right. Do that. Where's this one at? There he goes. All right. So let me show y'all this little tidbit I got earlier on regarding Drake and the puppy parties. I have to zoom in on it, of course, but that's fine. Perfect. Okay, so read this. The alleged victims claim they were abused at Diddy's parties, including ones that celebrated album releases and New Year's Eve, as well as all white parties, puppy parties, and sometimes at auditions, which allegedly occurred in Los Angeles, Miami, Manhattan, and the Hamptons between 1991 and 2024. Now, look at this next slide here, though. Who's that? Mr. Puppy Party himself. Now the crazy thing is, when you Google puppy parties, watch this, right? Let me show you something. When you Google puppy parties, I'll show you what comes up. I should say when you Google Drake puppy parties. That's what I want to hear. Literally the song All the Parties from the album All the Dogs, for all my dogs. Now I just want to read these lyrics because I'm wondering now if there's something in these lyrics. Yeah, Jason, got money that glow in the dark. Excuse me. Hit up the dog like I'm over your mark. I can correlate that with Mark Hotel. Walk-in closet got more chrome than a Stark. 40K a night to 40K a night to sleep at the see. Look, and then I'm thinking of the Mark Hotel, and then he rhymes with the Mark Hotel. 40K a night to sleep at the Mark. Talking about the Mark Hotel. Guess it's time for me to cover the shark. Me and KD about to turn up the art. I wonder if KD is into this shit. Fuck you hoes, I swear I'm breaking your heart. It's broken. I bought the house just to knock that shit down. I bought the rolls just to take it apart. She bought Nash, that she making it arch. Doctor's office was the last time that you niggas even had your name in the chart. Shorty graduated. Used to be a smarty. Used to want to study. Yeah, that's probably the main thing that sticks out to me is him literally rhyming about being at the Mark Hotel. And you guys remember the video we pretty much did about Drake being at the Mark Hotel. Look at that. Drake stayed in the $75,000 a night hotel suite. But this is the main thing I think of with those puppy parties. Because like I said, we went over the blind items. Him wearing the dog masks. Chris Alvarez, the baby slash adult, pretty much. So, like I said, when I hear puppy parties, this was literally the first thing I thought of. Drake spotted leaving the Mark Hotel. Like I said, we went over this. We went over the blind items of Drake and the mystery of him being at the Mark Hotel, the 17-year-old Ayana, Chris. We did a couple videos deep diving on Chris Alvarez. Yes, that's an adult stroller. KD was with Drake at Mr. Nice Guy in LA. Another pizza place. Do you see where that even came from right there? Katie and Drake at a pizza place? Pizzagate? Yo, this is really crazy right here. This is really crazy right here. We're gonna be here for another couple hours. We're gonna be in another couple hours, trust me. Because it looks like because we're gonna look at that Sloan Bella. We're gonna look at both the old and the new Sloan Bella. Now that we're looking at Drake here, and we know Drake has spent time with young Justin Bieber as well. People have said that Drake is the was supposedly about to be the new Diddy, but Kendrick pretty much foiled that plan. But yeah, Pizzagate. That's the main thing I think of right now when I'm seeing like the dog mask, puppy parties. Because that's a matter of fact. I wonder. I wonder now. I wonder now. Might have to look into that. I might have to look into that. I bet you I can find something with that. I might have to look into that. But till then,
At auditions, many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape, or even let them read.
even so, regardless of, I mean, not regardless. Besides that particular aspect of it, there was the young girl who was also saying that she was just being pimped to be at the sex trafficking parties. I mean, to be at the freak offs. She was a little girl being pimped at the freak offs. Lucali's is where all the elites go after the Met Gala. Yeah, we looked at that. We looked at the Pierre Morgan with Jaguar Wright just a little bit ago. Just a little bit ago. Why did Diddy slap Drake if they were in cahoots? Well, that was over 0 to 100. The slap was over to 0 to 100. Who that slugger? What's going on? What's going on? Yeah, the slap was over 0 to 100, pretty much because Drake leaked the record before Diddy got a chance to use it. Well, not necessarily Drake leaked the record. Somebody else leaked the record, and Drake didn't. Drake didn't authorize it. But when Diddy heard it, of course, he lost his shit, and he was already on 100. As I showed that Elliot Wilson talking about that night, where pretty much Diddy was already on 1,000 that night. He was already on 1,000 that night because he literally just had an argument with J. Cole, and the argument with J. Cole was over Kendrick Lamar. That was the crazy part about that. So after he gets into the squabble with J. Cole, like Elliot Wilson said, he saw just people getting hemmed up and shit, and J. Cole just being escorted out pretty much and just moved out the way. Drake comes in. Diddy's already on 100. Just ironically gets into it with him over that 0 to 100 record. But without going too far off to the left,
for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which, based on our research, is known as a horse tranquilizer.
Time out. Kendrick mentioned Lucali's in 616? I didn't know he mentioned Lucali's in 616. Time out. I didn't know he mentioned Lucali's dissing Drake. Wait a second. That one just threw me for a loop. That one just threw me for a loop. My Visa passport tatted. I show up in the Ibiza, Lucali's dwellings in Brooklyn just to book me some pizza. Oh, shit. I didn't even realize that was a reference to Pizzagate with Drake. Holy shit. I didn't peep that. Oh, shit. I didn't peep that one. Because 616 was him also doing the whistle blowing about Chris Alvarez in that joint. Yo, that's crazy. Oh, wow. Kendrick was whistleblowing about Pizzagate to Drake. And like I said, we just went over the puppy parties in correlation to Drake. Yo, that's wild. That is wild right there.
Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California. Another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping or perhaps believing that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you. These are individual cases. There are indeed other perpetrators involved. They will be revealed when that particular individual case is ready to be filed. They already know who they are. And I'm talking here about...
King Ozma, we just went over your information, sir. We just went over your information. And furthermore, notice how he keeps emphasizing that there are more perpetrators, and when it's time, we will reveal you. We just revealed Drake and Diddy are definitely connected. We just went over that. That puppy party shit. He literally just said in this in the indictment, it's the puppy parties. Drake is a part of the puppy parties. That is a part of Pizzagate. Diddy and Drake are definitely connected. Besides the fact that we went over the dad being in the case with Jimmy Henchman. Remember that? The dad was attached to Jimmy Henchman's case. That's the other link to Diddy. Now, chill. Think about what I just saw there. There you go. New Eyes. What's going on? What's going on? I just seen somebody say something. Where they go? Mentioned Zach Bia, who was the influencer Drake used to build his popularity, who he met through the owner of Lucali's. Oh wow, he stabbed another made man in the neck, and it just went away. So I bet you it did just go away. You can't just do that. You can't just considering what you just a made man and that just went away. Yeah, you know somebody. You know somebody higher up. Somebody very high up. If that went away. But yo, that's crazy how they are so connected though. That is really crazy right there. We don't have to necessarily look at this whole thing right here. Like I said, he's already talked about. Well, no, he hasn't even gotten to the 9-year-old. I don't think. I don't think he got to the 9-year-old and 14-year-old yet.
Not just the cowardly, but complicit bystanders. That is, those people that we know watched this behavior occur and did nothing. And I'm talking about the people that participated, encouraged it, egged it on. They know who they are. I call them the facilitators of foul play, willing participants in vile conduct. As we identify them, each will be part of this case as defendants. These defendants will not only include individuals, but would also include corporate entities who ultimately profited off of this culture and behavior. I'm looking at banks, pharmaceutical companies, hotels. We know that many of these individuals were paid cash. We know that many of these individuals involved, whether they were the ones being assaulted and abused or they're witnessing other people being assaulted and abused and then paid and threatened and told to leave. Typically paid 10 grand in cash and told to leave. And then threatened as they were leaving. So in addition to Sean Combs, you should know the defendants in these cases we're going to file will include anyone, of course, who engaged in the assault or exploitation, anyone who participated in such in any way, anyone who encouraged or facilitated this conduct, anyone who was in the room and watched it happen but made no effort to stop it, any venue or venue owner who was aware of what was going on but failed to stop it, any individual or entity who knew about the conduct and benefited from it but did nothing to report it or stop it, and any individual or entity who covered it up or helped cover it up. These people who know who they are should just come forward now. I would imagine, as we speak here, there are a myriad of people who are very nervous. You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever. I would expect there are many people out there right now who are desperately searching their memories as they delete their texts and data. Now, although these are, in fact, individual cases, there is a common theme, an MO, if you will. Typically, the victim is lured into a situation where he or she is given a drink. Typically, that drink, reported by these victims, is apparently laced with something. Once that drink takes effect, the perpetrators perform all kinds of sexual acts on the victims, many times passing him or her around as other people watch and enjoy the show, and then leave the victim ashamed, confused, injured, and wondering what happened. When the victim reaches out, he or she is told not to say anything. Sometimes there are threats of physical violence or financial repercussions or bodily harm. The claims we intend to bring will include the following: violent sexual assault or rape, sexual abuse, facilitated sex with a controlled substance, false imprisonment, compelling prostitution, sexual misconduct, dissemination of video recordings, false imprisonment, sexual abuse of minors. Given the large volume of cases, and given our other docket obligations, and given the fact that we want to be sure when we file these cases that they are fully vetted, I expect we'll start filing these cases against Sean Combs and other perpetrators within the next 30 days. Now, it's rare, sexual abuse, sexual exploitation, this type of activity is pervasive in our society, and it's rare we get a chance where we can really focus on this as a country and really focus on this about how pervasive this is and what we as collectively can do about it. So I thought I'd take this opportunity before I go into some of the individual cases and talk about some of the individual claims being made and so you'll get a sense of what this 120 people group looks like individually. I want to bring forward Carrie Paul. She's a national victim advocate who helps victims who have been victimized by this type of conduct.
Rabs Jr., what's going
She has some
on?
important words, and I hope you'll pay close attention. I think it's important that you hear from her.
Hello, I'm Carrie Paul with the National Victim Advocate. It's not easy for any survivor to come forward. Our culture doesn't believe survivors. It blames and questions them. Instead of showing support, many choose to enable abusers.
Yeah, real quick. That was the comment I knew I saw earlier. Icon Bonnie, yes. Definitely. That was another thing, right? So we have to definitely, pay attention to the fact that Jaguar right now is on Pierre Morgan. Jimmy Fallon is mentioning Gene Deal. The fact that this is starting, all these conspiracy theories, these so-called conspiracy theories, are now becoming out in the general masses public now. We're not just talking about on YouTube. We're talking about the general masses is looking at this shit now. It's going beyond. You know what I mean? It's going beyond the realms of just internet. It's definitely reached the news, the general news, the prime time of shit. That's a huge thing for truth tellers in general. That platform got taken today by Jaguar Wright.
The media runs stories asking why it took so long for survivors to come forward instead of asking what barriers exist. We also don't equip law enforcement with the ability to handle sexual assault crimes. Lack of funding translates to lack of training. We have officers in the field that don't know what to say to a rape victim, and also an alarming amount of backlogged, untested rape kits. Prosecutors are focused on what they can prove in a case, and if so, how to do that at time of trial. Advocates and staff are stretched thin with growing caseloads in the criminal justice system. Most people don't know how the criminal justice works in general. There isn't enough staff or resources to adequately explain the entire process to every victim and survivor. Our culture works against victims and survivors every day, and abusers know this. Abusers work themselves into positions of power, building a public image that is trusted and financially large enough to make people look away. Abusers are unfortunately very skilled at power and control, the foundation of abuse. They seek victims who are vulnerable, such as children, their employees, and their intimate partners, all who see a different version than the public does, all who rely on the abuser in some way. And for those that do come forward and aren't believed, face questions like, are you sure it happened that way? Were you drinking? What were you wearing? All of this creates an environment that enables abusers to continue abusing them and future victims. To the survivors that have come forward despite not being believed at some point in time, your courage is like nothing we have seen before. We thank you for coming forward for yourself and all survivors. And lastly, I want all survivors that are watching this to know we believe you and we support you. Thank you.
I want you now to hear from my co-counsel, Andrew Van Arsdale. We've created a sexual abuse hotline, and I want him to visit with us just a few moments about how that works and the kind of volume of calls we've received.
Thank you, Tony. Like Tony said, my name is Andrew Van Arsdale. I'm the managing partner of b.l.a.c Law Group. We have offices in California, Montana, and North Carolina. To build off of what you just so well said, it's very hard to come forward. And given what we've experienced the past 10 days is really unprecedented in my career, at least. We represent thousands of survivors of abuse. And never, ever in a 10-day period have we seen over 3,000 people come forward, or we've confirmed and decided to investigate and represent 120 people while we're continuing to work through another 100+ cases to prove them up, to validate what had happened here, and to hold those that are responsible accountable. And so like Tony said, we've set this up. It's 1-800-200-7474. I have a team of people standing by literally. If you know that this happened to someone and you have information about it, please contact us. If this happened to you, come forward. There's attorney-client privilege here. What you tell us is in confidence. Yes, we'll have to go out and build your case, but we will protect you. And the other thing that I want to say is the pattern and practice of this, again, is unprecedented. Over 30+ years of the same sort of events happening, people thrust into this circle reportedly, and horrible things happening to them as a result. And from talking to these people that have come forward these past 10 days, I can tell you unequivocally that because the federal government did what it needed to do and indicted this man, that they put him in jail and a judge kept him in jail, they tell me directly, this validates my feelings. For so long, I thought it was my fault. What is it about me that put myself in that scenario? What was I wearing at the time? What did I do to be subjected to such horrific treatment at these people that I was trying to trust? Well, we know now it was not your fault. You were victimized by a group of powerful people that operated for 30+ years, taking advantage of their wealth and the power that they held within the music industry. So again, thank you to every single person that has come forward and contacted our office over the past 10 days. If you or someone you know suffered the same sort of treatment, please contact us at the number behind me and we will help you. Thank you.
I think it speaks to how important this issue is in the United States and frankly internationally, that we have reputable people here that want to provide kind of information that I think victims need to hear, witnesses need to hear, the public needs to hear. Let me introduce to you now Olivia Rivers from the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault, and let her visit with you a few moments about these types of cases.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Q Olivia Rivers. I am just served my 6th year as the board chair for the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault. I'm also the CEO for the Bridge Over Troubled Waters, which is a local rape crisis center here in the Houston area. So thank you for being here as we address these heinous crimes. Sexual assault is not just a crime of violence against the body. It's an assault on the very essence of human dignity and safety. It shatters lives, it destroys confidence, and all too often, it leaves survivors feeling like they are voiceless, isolated, and vulnerable. The reality for many survivors is that coming forward to report their assault is one of the most difficult and daunting tasks that they will ever have to do. And for some, it may take days, months, or even years to speak up, if they ever do. The reasons for this have been mentioned, but include the fear of.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? I agree with you guys. Diddy is definitely the fall guy here, and the sex cults, all the Pizzagate, all this shit is still going to unfortunately continue to happen, even with Diddy gone. Hell, it's still happening right now while Diddy's gone. We already talked about before. Michael Rubin is the replacement for Diddy at the all white parties. That all white party still went off without a hitch, which we're going to look at one of the, I guess you would say, unseen results of the unwhite party here in just a second. We still just got, like I said, I'm gonna be here for a little bit, so I got some more shit. Matter of fact, we might as well get into that interview real quick with Chris Todd, because One Crime actually interviewed Chris Todd too. And real quick, I just want to show y'all. I was trying to look for this too. I was trying to look for this for y'all because I feel like we didn't get to do the board on a live. I think I did this shit on Twitch and I didn't realize it. Or maybe it just wasn't enough people in here, but I still got the board. Now, if y'all don't remember, this is the blind item board. I would have loved to go through the board with y'all. Matter of fact, I don't think I did do this on live with y'all. I think I just went through this shit and was just going through it. Just looking through items and going through information on Twitch and just put the video out. But yeah, this is the blind item board that had all of the Drake shit that the mole was putting out. Like I said, the 17-year-old with Diana, Follow the White Rabbit. Then I found the dad that was luring girls to his crib, talking about it's a Drake after party, and the whole time it was just him just luring them to his house and shit. This is what's that? Silence Policy. Why do you have a company named Silence Policy, Drake? And then you have them. Then you had the Silence Policy was underneath a shell corporation, and then the shell corporations. That's one of the main reasons why Drake had to move out of Toronto in the first place, because the shell corporations pretty much got exposed because his security was one of the shell corporations, and they realized that the shell corporation, but the security was pretty much fake. And they were like, "Yo, how do you have a shell corporation for a security firm in your shell corporation, and that security firm ain't too fucking legit? You barely even got the paperwork for it." Shell corporations are pretty much when you really want to hide something behind illegitimate business that you're doing. And like I said, there were numerous blind items that we found on Drake, including the deep dive on Chris Alvarez, including the lawsuit that he had settled, including the connection with Triple X Tentacion. It Like I said, the receipts for the Ozempic, the Mark Hotel, the deep dive we did on the connection with the Mark Hotel and the dog masks, linking even to Dutchavelli getting his ass ate by a dog. Like it was just so much. It was so much that we caught. And the crazy thing is how this all connects also to Diddy now. Like all of this, all the puppy parties connect to Diddy is in Pizzagate is just wild to me. Why do you have two companies named Silence? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, and then on murder. or murder creative or murder meaning code of silence. Like, it's just little shit. It's like, yo, Drake, why are you doing shit like this? This is when I was done with, when I went through this board right here. This is when I was done with Drake. I was completely done with Drake when I went through this board right here. And one day I guess we will do a whole live where we will go through this whole board again, because I feel like we didn't get to do that.